Now, what is a past tense, children? If I ask you what is a past tense, so the word past itself tells you the events or the actions that we performed in the past. Like in the previous class when we were studying, we studied about the present tense. So present tense means the action that we were doing at present. So that is the present work that we were doing, we studied it as a present tense. Now, past tense means the action that we performed in the past. It can be a previous day, it can be hours before, it can be years ago. So, now let's move on to the next topic. So, what is a past tense? Any event or action that took place in the past can be referred to as a past tense. Any event or action that took place in the past is referred to as a past tense. Now, as we can understand from the name, past tense is a verb that we use to indicate an action, events or condition that if I tell you I am studying, means at present I am studying. If I tell you yesterday I went to the market, yesterday, the word yesterday means the past event that I am discussing to you at present. So each tense has 4 aspects. Each tense has 4 aspects that talks about the completion of event, that talks about the completion of events or actions that are based on that. We have 4 types of past tense, children. We have 4 types of past tense. Simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense and past perfect continuous tense. Simple past tense, please note down, simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense and past perfect continuous tense. Now, what is a simple past tense? Simple past tense is used to indicate or describe. Simple past tense is used to indicate or describe something that happened or existed in the past. Like just now I gave the example of yesterday I went for shopping. This particular sentence, if I tell you, this particular sentence is a real example of a simple past tense, because here I described about something that happened or existed in the past. The situations here, the situation or condition to use a simple past tense is to describe an action, event or condition that occurred in the past or at a specific time. Refer to describe an action that has been completed and there is no time mentioned. Children, please pay attention to the 2 points that I am giving. The simple past tense describes an action, event or condition that occurred in the past or at a specified time. If the time is mentioned, yesterday at 6 p.m. I attended a meeting. Here I am giving a specified time. Now, let's see the next one. Refer to describe an action that has been completed or there is no time mentioned. There is no time mentioned means just I am telling you, last year I went to Delhi. Now, I am not giving you the exact idea or the exact date when I went, but I am giving you just a idea that yes, I went to Delhi last year. Now, next see the next part. Describes an action. It also describes an action or occurrence of an event. It describes the action or occurrence of an event that is done repeatedly. Repeatedly means after a regular interval. Okay, describes a state of mind. Past tense also describes the state of mind in the past or a feeling that was felt in the past. It describes the feeling that was felt in the past. Like yesterday I was feeling very sad. That is a feeling that I had in the past, but I am happy today. To add ed. Children, please pay attention. We need to add ed. Like for example, the verbs ending in e, we add d. However, there are some simple past tense verbs such as cut. If I am talking about a word cut, put, put, set, set, which remains the same in the present and the past. It does not change and we don't add ed to it. Please make a point of it. If we are talking about a word cut, we don't add ed to it. It remains the same in the past, in the present. Now, if he worked at a cheesecake factory, he worked. Now, the word work, I am talking about I work at a cheesecake factory means at present I am working. Just a second. So, I often bought my lunch to school. Here if I talk about worked, if I am talking about something in a present, I will say I work in a cheesecake factory. That means I am talking about the present event. But the moment I am adding ed to the verb, he worked at a cheesecake factory means I am talking about or I am discussing about the event that had happened in the past. I often brought my lunch to school. I often brought means in the past I often had a habit of bringing my lunch. Now let's see what past continuous is. Children, I hope the past tense is clear to you. Now let's move to the next part, that is the past continuous tense. Past continuous tense is used to indicate an ongoing event in the past. That event which is in the process, it is still going on. Other conditions where past continuous tenses are used to show that someone is in the middle of an action. If I say past continuous also indicates that someone is in the middle of an action. Like I am teaching you is the present continuous tense, is the present action that I am performing at now. But if I say I was teaching you yesterday means I am talking about the event, action that I was performing at that particular time. For example, I was calling him when he came home. Now here, past continuous tense is used to describe an action taking place when another occurred. Like something I am talking and at the same moment some other action occurred. Now for example, you can see children, while they are painting the door, I was painting the window. Good evening, Prasun. So here we can say that while they were painting the door, I was painting the window. Here two events, two actions are taking place at the same time. So here we can say that it is used to describe an action taking place when another occurred. While he was painting, while they are painting, I was also painting the window at the same time. Now here, for an action that was taking place in the past, if I talk about, past continuous also says that if an action that was taking place in the past when an interrupted action happened. Now, to clarify this statement, let's see the example given there. While he was working on his laptop, he fell asleep. While he was working on his laptop, he fell asleep. Now here you can say that the action that was taking place in the past was interrupted. It got interrupted. How? He fell asleep. The moment he fell asleep, the action was interrupted. Now let's move to the next part. How to formulate the past continuous tense. The past continuous tense is formed using the past tense of a verb to be. Was, were. Now, was, where do we use was? When we talk about singular person. But the moment we talk about a plural people, more than one, we use were. And the present participle verbs end in ing. Remember, we add ing. These two tenses can be used together to indicate that an action happened while another was in progress. Here you can say that in the past continuous tense, the action that was going together, that indicates that the action happened while another was also in the progress. Now the third part is past perfect tense. I already said that past tense consists of 4 subtopics. This is the third topic that I am discussing. The past. Meenu had borrowed money from the bank to buy her new car. Meenu had borrowed money from the bank to buy a new car. Describes an event or action. It also describes an event or action which happened before a definite time in the past. Past perfect tense also describes an event that happened before at a definite time. If I say Mohan was going to the market yesterday and at 8 o'clock he met an accident. So I am giving you the exact time. I am talking about a definite action that had happened in the past. We had cleaned up the terrace before the watchman arrived. This is the example. Now, describes an action that happened in the past. If I talk about the action that happened in the past, I can give you this example. We had reached their house after the dinner was over. We reached their house after the dinner was over. Now, past perfect tense is also used to describe a state. Past perfect tense is also used to describe a state. For example, their wives had become good friends at the wedding. Their wives, I am talking about 2 people, and at present they have become good friends. A very important use of past tense is that it is used to clarify which event happened earlier. The very important part is the past perfect tense is used to clarify. If you have any doubt about the action, this past perfect tense can very nicely clarify your doubt by the event that had happened or the actions that were completed in the past. Like if I tell you, Manish reached here after you had gone. So I am giving you a clear statement that the action was complete. When you came here, he had already left. The patient had died before the doctor reached the hospital. I am giving you a clear statement that when you reached the hospital, the patient had died. So this is the past perfect tense because it gives you the action, it clarifies your doubt by the action, says that the action was completed in the past. I had read those books that you bought for me. I'm giving you a clear statement that the book that you gave me was completed. I finished reading the book. Now, how to formulate the past perfect tense? The past perfect tense is formed. The past perfect tense is formed when the past tense of the auxiliary verb. In the previous class, when I was teaching you the present tense, I taught you about the auxiliary verb. So here also the past tense of the auxiliary verb have, which is had, and the past participle of the main verb. Children, please note, the past perfect tense is formed with the past tense of the auxiliary verb have, that is, which is had, and the past participle of the main verb. The past perfect continuous tense. I am talking about the next topic, the past perfect continuous tense. This tense is used to describe actions that were going on in the past up until another action in the past happened. The past perfect continuous tense means the tense is used to describe actions that were going on in the past and until another action happened in the past. They are often used in the following situations. Now, where do we use past perfect continuous tense, children? For an action that had occurred over a period of time. For an action that had occurred over a period of time, having begun in the past. To describe an action which started, was waiting, waited. Now I have to choose. You will choose from the given 4 options and you have to fill in the blanks. You have to fill in the blanks with the correct form of verb. Now, the sentence mentioned here, answer will be, children, please note the answer, it will be had been waiting. The sentence mentions that the bus arrived. If you look at the sentence, just see the sentence, I dash for hours, so I was really glad when the bus finally arrived. Answer is had been waiting. I had been waiting for hours, so I was really glad when the bus finally arrived. Here if we talk, the sentence mentions that the bus arrived and the verb, please see to it, the verb in the first part of the sentence, which is wait. This indicates that there are 2 events that occurred at one, and one happened before and another and continued until the second event occurred. Just see the sentence. I had been waiting for hours, so I was really glad when the bus finally arrived. So here the sentence is mentioned that the bus arrived. The action is arrived. No prasun, it will be had been waiting. Okay, very good. So, very good prasun. So the answer will be had been waiting for hours. So I was really glad when the bus arrived. Therefore, it is a past perfect continuous tense and therefore the correct option is had been waiting. Now children, I would like you to just make a point of few formulas that I would like to discuss with you. Now if we talk about a past perfect tense, just write down the rules for the affirmative sentences. The subject, the affirmative sentence, the subject will be subject plus had, subject plus had, plus the third form of the verb, plus the third form of the verb, plus the object. For example, she had cooked the food. She had cooked the food. Now, if in the previous class just I told you that a sentence comprises of a positive as well as a negative sentence. So, if I am talking about a negative sentence, what will be the rule for a negative sentence? It will be subject plus had plus not. Subject plus had plus not plus the third form of the verb, plus the third form of the verb plus the object. For example, they had not attended the function. They had not attended the function. Now, next part, rule for interrogative sentence. If we can have a question forming sentence also. So, rule for interrogative sentences, it will be had plus subject plus the third form of the verb plus the object and the question mark. Like, had she watched a movie? Had she watched the movie? Now, if we see the next rule, it is question word. Question forming word, we can use what, were, when, how, why, plus had, plus subject, plus the third form of the verb, plus the third form of the verb, plus object. For example, why had you not gone to Delhi? Why had you not gone to Delhi? This is the rule for the formation of an interrogative sentence. Now, if we talk about the past perfect continuous tense, children, just note down the rule for an affirmative sentence. Just note down the rule for the affirmative sentence. Subject plus had been. Subject plus had been plus the first form of verb, plus the first form of verb plus ing plus the object plus since or for plus object. Like, for example, you had been suffering from fever since Tuesday. You had been suffering from fever since Tuesday. I had been studying for 3 hours. I had been studying for 3 hours. These are the example for the affirmative sentence. Now, if we look at the rule for a negative sentence, if it subject plus had plus not plus been plus the first form of the verb, children, plus the first form of the verb plus ing plus object plus since, for, and then let's see, they had not been going to office since 5th of July. I am giving you a clear date that they had not been going to office since 5th of July. Now, let's see the rule for the interrogative sentence, a question forming sentence. Had plus subject plus been plus the first form of the verb plus ing plus object plus since, for. The next rule will be question word. It is the question word plus had plus subject plus been plus the first form of verb plus ing plus since or for plus object. Like, for example, Had you not been reading the book since morning? Had you not been reading the book since morning? Where had he been playing since morning? This is the question that I am forming for and in the past perfect continuous tense. Where had he been playing since morning? So children, please note down these examples and the rules for formation of a sentence, and I hope you all understood the topic clearly today about what the past tense is